Hi all, and welcome to today's reading. Hope you're all doing well. It's a really clear message that's come through today. So I know that you're on some kind of journey. That's the first thing that is coming through really clearly. Now, for a lot of you, I think it's a spiritual journey, but for others, it could be a journey of self-discovery, a new learning journey. You're learning something new, perhaps moving towards a new type of career, something that's totally out of your comfort zone, I'm feeling, but it's something that you're really interested in, really enthusiastic about. But at some point along that journey, something has come in, it's feeling very much like a karmic cycle. So a temptation to go to something else, to put your attention into something else. And for a lot of you, I'm getting the feeling that this is a relationship. For others, I'm getting the feeling it's a job, or it could be any other type of situation, or any other sort of relationship that you've had to put energy into. It might not necessarily be a romantic one. And for a lot of time, your energy's been sort of put into that, and not in a bad way. You've had a good time, it's all worked out really nicely for you, but for some reason that situation has come to an end. And for some of you, it feels like it's come to an end rather abruptly. And although you knew it was the right thing for it to come to an end, it still feels like a loss. But then the other feeling that's coming up with it is that you feel like it's slowed down or even put a halt to this process that you were on previously to starting in this situation that you've just been in. Okay, so you almost feel like, damn it, if I'd not got into this situation, I'd still be on this journey and I would have got further. But actually, the message that's coming through is that whatever you've just been in has actually accelerated your growth. So through being in this situation, you've gained more clarity more quickly than you would have done had you not been in it. So it's actually facilitated that learning process, that growing process even more. And it's done that by helping you to really tune in into what feels right and what doesn't feel right for you. And what this is you've been able to tune into your intuition more than you would have done in previous situations of this kind. And again, I feel like it's a karmic cycle. So I feel like this is something you've been in before. So you're almost like kicking yourself, like, damn it, I'm annoyed at myself for having gotten into this sort of thing again when I know it's not the right path for me. The message coming through is to be really gentle and kind to yourself, because actually it feels like this is the ending of that pattern of karmic cycles, because it's really starting to come through now. You've got more awareness of when things are and aren't right for you. You're tuning into that intuition more and more, trusting it more and more. It's not a case of anymore that your head and heart are saying different things. They're starting to match up. Okay. So yeah, really lean into that. Now, what it's helped you to do is to really get a clear idea of what you don't want moving forwards on this journey that you're on. And what that in turn helps you to do is realize what you do want. So that's also the message that's coming through today, is to spend your energy focusing on those things that you do want rather than the things that you don't want. Because your brain sort of does this thing where it doesn't always recognize if what you're thinking about is what you want or what you don't. So that's where manifestation comes in. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, it might be worth having a look into some sort of videos on YouTube about manifestation and how that can work. But it's not always about that, sometimes it's just about getting on top of these negative thought spirals. And I've talked about this in other videos that I have. I'll put some links to other videos in the description below. So when you start to realize what it is that you do want, you can then focus your attention on that. And if that is part of the journey that you were on initially, and I am really getting this strong feeling that for a lot of you it is a spiritual journey, an awakening of some kind, perhaps for some people, or at least a journey of self-discovery where you are really getting to know yourself, getting to know parts of you that have been buried for a long time, or parts that you didn't even sort of know were there because you've sort of had to fit in or do a certain thing to be able to get where you need to in life up to now. But the message is coming through that it doesn't have to be this way. So really start leaning into that intuition and getting a feel for what is right for you, and maybe even letting yourself daydream about these things that you do feel are right for you, and get a feel for how they feel if they would come to fruition. Okay. So yeah, you're paving your own way here. And that leads me on to the next message that came through to me. So the next message that came through, it came through as a vision. And it was a vision of being stood at the back of a queue, like a long queue to a desk at the front. And everybody in this queue is wanting something, and you're panicking because you feel like whatever it is that this thing that's being offered, you're going to miss out on it because there are so many people ahead of you wanting this thing. So there's this, it's almost like a FOMO sort of thing, this fear of missing out on whatever it is that's being offered. But then you start to be able to hear what it is that these people are asking for, and you realise that every single one of these people at the front of this queue, as they move to the front of the queue, are asking for a different thing. And you've realised that all of these people are on a different life path. So actually, there is no need to fear missing out because nobody's life path is the same. And on that realisation, the next image that came through was of being stood in a clearing in a forest. And there's a path behind that is clearly waymarked. It's a lovely set out path, nicely gravelled. Looks like a really easy way to get back to wherever you're going. And that is the key thing there, is that it's to get back to wherever you're going. Now ahead of you, the forest is really dense and really dark and really scary looking. And it's not the kind of forest with like nice open spaces between the trees. It's full of thorns, it's full of brambles, it's full of ferns, and you know that you'd have to really fight your way through it. This is all sounding quite scary, but it isn't. This is linking back to a message that I gave in my last reading, which was all about the path that you are on is to be able to express something that you have, a gift that you have. So it's unique to you. It's outside of the mainstream, was what came through in the last reading, and I'm still getting that message coming through now. So this path that's ahead of you isn't a well-made path, and it's not, well-beaten track or anything, because nobody else has been that way before, and that's what's so scary about it. If I was doing tarot now, I feel like I would be drawing up the moon card, because that is all about our path being hidden and not really knowing what's on the other side. But on the other side of the moon card is the sun. Now the sun, when you move into the sun, everything's illuminated, everything is brilliant, and that in the tarot, that is like the card that you want to draw to, to see where it is that you're going. Just showing you that everything's okay. And with that, as I'm standing here in this clearing looking at this really dense forest in front of me, I know that what's on the other side of it, and it's just a knowing that I know that what's on the other side of it is absolutely beautiful, and that nobody else has been there before, because this is something that's unique to me. It's a journey that's unique to me. And it might be that other people have got to this place from other angles or other ways of getting there, but their paths have all been different. Okay. So you have a gift that's unique, that you feel you need to share with the world. Well, in fact, you're being encouraged to share it with the world, to overcome those fears. Start taking that path. And you know that that path is going to be difficult, but that's just because nobody's trodden it before. The other thing is, in treading that path, you're paving the way for other people to be inspired by your actions, to then take their own paths in their lives as well. So it has this kind of ripple effect out on the world, and that is never a bad thing. And as you are going to be walking along this path, sometimes things might come up that are tricky, but actually as you're going through it, you think, actually this isn't that bad, and it's quite enjoyable. It's an adventure. It's when you start to look at things through the lens of excitement rather than anxiety. And just so you know, that feeling is so similar. Anxiety and excitement feel the same pretty much in the body. So realize that actually this is an adventure that I'm going on and I'm excited about it. And that then is coming from the heart. You know, anxiety comes from the ego, from the brain, from the mind. But when it's your heart that's pulling you forward and you know that it's the right path for you, these obstacles, they kind of diminish and they feel exciting to overcome. And each time you overcome one of these obstacles, you get past the next bush that you need to clear, you whack your way through those brambles that have suddenly popped up from nowhere that are trying to trip you up. Each little thing you do like that only improves your confidence to know that you are going in the right direction. And trust me, when you get there, it will be so worth the journey, because what is on the other side is pure magic. And what you realize when you get there is that the journey has been part of that. The journey has been enjoyable with all its ups and downs. You've learned so much, you've gained so much, you've built in confidence, you've built your resilience. And that puts you in a stronger position to then forge forwards with this new thing that you are birthing. And that's all that's come through today. But I think it is such a powerful, lovely message that's come through. And I'd really like to hear all about where you're at with things. So please comment below if this resonates with you. And as always, like and subscribe. Yeah, again, I'll put a link to the last reading I did in the description so that you can have a listen to that and see what I say about this unique gift that you have. All right, thanks very much. I'll see you again soon. Bye.